Hey, there's some tools down there. You bringing a towel? It's warm enough.
And where are we going today?
Something about cheese and raisins or something.
Cheese and raisins.
We're having lunch.
Having lunch.
You had the sardines, I assume.
No. Do we have them?
True?
No. No, you have all the food somewhere. We don't have any food. It was all in your truck. You put it all in your truck.
Uh-oh.
In search of Lewis Lodge.
Finding Lewis Lodge hasn't been easy. Putting this video together hasn't been easy either, considering this is November of 2020, and the video you're watching is from September of 2009, some 11 years later. Good thing no one's been waiting for it. We had some not too easy to interpret directions, but in the beginning of the hike, we had a hiker-made trail to follow until we hit the slick rock. But like most places in the canyon country, exploring around can be its own reward.
He's going to get me pointing on the next one. There's the end of the fence. Should we just drop down to this ledge down there, or just take this round?
Well, once you get down there, you then have to drop down another level.
If it says follow to the end of the fence, I'd say we should do that.
Yeah. Well, that's the trail.
Okay. Your assessment?
This is a side canyon. We have found it.
I see.
There's a faint trail on the right there, as you said. Faint trail to the right. From the end of the fence along the canyon rim until you can find an easy way to get down the first small cliff band to the head of a side canyon.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know whether it's the trail or whether it's somebody else's lost, you know.
Right.
You brought me to a wild and wonderful place again. What do you expect for this afternoon?
We'll find the ruins.
Oh. All right.
That's what I expect.
Lewis Lodge, a site pasted to the wall of a not all that broad ledge, hundreds, no, thousands of feet above the canyon floor. The only access is from above, down a steep path that might once have been a rampway.
This way?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Once you get there, you'll be pretty secure.
Don't go over to that edge, Scott. You don't need to look down there.
It's not a comfortable site, unlike Cold Springs Cave with its myriad handprints and a bedrock streambed just below it, or River House, my favorite site, perched just a bit above and away from the San Juan. Those sites feel safe and at the same time groundedly expansive, open and welcoming. The only expanse at Lewis Lodge is the views of distant canyon walls and the open air with a need for permanent caution. One misstep and you're seeing the expansive open air up close for a few seconds, your last few seconds. Why here? I always ask that when I visit a site. My favorites are places that could feel like home, meaning, for me, not that far off the ground. Getting to Lewis Lodge was a frightening experience I have no desire to ever repeat. The Lewis Lodge site is not comfortable or relaxing. It seems to have fear and guardedness built into it. And I find it quite interesting that there are no petroglyphs or pictographs here. My favorite sites have them. Whatever they signify, they were important enough to be part of the process of living there. There's nothing like that here, as if ceremony and art did not rate high enough to be included.
Due to its isolation, Lewis Lodge wasn't discovered until 1956 by a surveyor named Dick Lewis. It was excavated shortly thereafter and found to have some 44 rooms and kivas and a good scattering of artifacts. Since then, visitors have picked the place clean so that little, if any, artifacts remain, to the extent you would think the people who built this place didn't stay here very long. Not true, says Tom Wines. the guy responsible for most of the boreholes you find on Cedar Mesa, which provide cores from roof timbers and other wood that the University of Arizona Tree Ring Lab uses to date when the tree lived. The tree ring dates tell us building took place from 1232 to 1260. Since archaeologists date the fall and collapse of Chaco Canyon and its regional influence to about 1150, causing no end of turmoil in the Southwest, these dates beginning in 1232 make sense. People were afraid and wanted someplace safe, no matter how precarious. In fact, the more difficult of access, the better. You can see here where Tom and his wood rats have filled the bore cavities and nicely numbered them.
Of many trips to the Bears Ears area, the journey to Lewis Lodge stands out in my mind. Beyond the incredible landscape and the somewhat dangerous exposure hiking to the site, there's the pervading mystical experience that surrounds visits to these ancient ruins. The remaining and well-picked over vestiges of this past culture leaves a mark in my awareness of what compelled people to do such amazingly high-risk and labor-intensive work. Also, to manifest it within the cultural lifestyle of those days is truly a mind-boggler. The reality of building a defensive community literally on an upper ledge of an 800-foot deep canyon wall is an adrenalizing fact at Lewis Lodge. So much that there is always the thought of possible accidents in daily life with access, children, and provisioning. So wandering through and investigating the large portions of walls, rooms, and kivas that still remain, it brings one to understand the pivotal need we all have for a secure and safe home within the boundaries of survival.
Turns out this place appears to have been lived in continuously, longer than most other places on Cedar Mesa. Word must have gotten out that if you wanted a good place to hide, this was your ticket. Hard to envision families with kids living here with the 800-foot sheer cliffs everywhere. More likely a defensive stronghold that would be very difficult to breach. In fact, this remaining blocking wall would have been tough to penetrate if an intruder was able to get this far. This very narrow, angled ramp is the only way in, and would have given their residents early warning of your coming. This trail ramp down to the lodge is not for the faint of heart, and some of us will certainly never visit this place again.
And out of the bush they come.
Literally.
Wow. So, do you go down there very often?
I don't even look down there very often.
Ah, I see.
There are several seeps still active, so that made living here possible. The elevation here is about 6,700 feet, so winters would be brisk, to say the least. This kiva is the most interesting structure still standing, and is perched on the canyon edge, making it a here-and-now crawl to its front opening, which is probably once closed off with entrance by ladder through the roof opening.
Look at these. My goodness.
Wait until you see this baby.
Wow.
I'm not sure at all.
It's got the full cribbed roof. You can tell they like this when they got the numbers on everything.
Well, it looks bird-like for sure, but it's
This is probably an after.
Yeah, I think they stabilize it for so many people walking on it, but it's held up really. This one started cracking. And this looks like the cover came off here. Here's some pieces. I mean,
Yeah.
fortunately people haven't come and burnt them.
Burned them, yeah. Well, maybe the people who come here know better.
one would hope.
Pray.
So would
This is a lot of wood to carry around on these ledges.
God, yeah.
We hauled all this stuff in here.
You know, each little thing is like, and then the plaster. Reminds me of Chaco in the sense of all the plaster's gone, but all that rock is still
Do you think
typical.
they had little trowels like you do to get this?
They had little
plaster?
Japanese trowels like I use, yeah.
I think they used their hands.
And there are the numbers.
They might have used their hands with a
Rock or piece of wood or something.
a suede piece of leather.
Oh yeah, because it's so
It's so
smooth.
smooth.
I mean, they polished it.
It looks like it. Look at this.
They just
Smooth
rubbed
as
It's
it.
their
Look at how smooth
clay
this
work.
wall is.
And here's this great little.
It's very important not to walk on the roof, as I'm sure many have done unknowingly. Fortunately, site stewards of the place have constructed a number of roof support poles to help keep the roof from falling in. Most of the remaining structures are tumbling towards their destinies, and a few show they may have had 3 stories.
Well, this is a 2-story row of rooms in here and up here, and the only way to get up here be on top of the kiva.
Right.
This is, you'll see, it's all busted through. I don't know if these were storage rooms, probably living spaces, huh?
What have you found in there?
Well, more rooms.
Wonderful things.
Rooms above the kiva. See, that's what they were climbing across here for. Across at one time.
Yeah, so you could walk all the way across here.
This was
a condo.
it was quite. So this room, wow, what a great,
It's palatial.
nice job they did here. Okay, I'll let everybody else.
Yeah,
look in
so
here.
here's this, either kiva or pit house.
Into the ruins is like going back in time, where humans built a sheltered place of protection. This space is notably different, enclosed by a low, overhanging rock ceiling, filled with many rock walls and structures of various forms and sizes, each with different purposes and stories. We can only wonder.
Yeah, I wish you wouldn't stand so close to the edge. Thank you.
Really?
Yeah.
There could be around that corner
Uh-huh.
something that somebody, because you know they were going up on top of this mesa
Yeah.
to hunt.
I stop to look out and beyond, and then I look down. It's a steep drop into the canyon below. Once again, in the stillness, I am captivated, listening, and with each breath, wondering about those who lived here so many years ago. I hear the sound of wings. A crow flies by, a familiar greeting from a distant past. Follow your heart, listen and wonder, in from the past and into the presence.
Look, two round pillars there, all right.
Yeah, I think this was their plaster hole. This is where they were making plaster.
It could be. I mean,
There's
this is clay.
This is just, there's the smallest little bits of pottery charred.
Wow, that would be a good place for clay for sure. Huh.
Little monkey steps here,
Monkey steps there. Wow.
right up to this.
Yeah, the two remaining walls. Nothing left. Wow, and they're still standing.
Here,
Monkey steps going up.
right.
Yeah. To there, presumably. Right, and then the monkey steps down the other side. So you got Cabana. So that was their main traffic corridor here. Down these steps. Wow.
Research has shown there was about a 100-year period where the climate was such that people moved up from lower Cedar Mesa into the higher elevations around the Bears Ears. Maybe Lewis Lodge was first inhabited then, who knows? But the tree ring dates show cuttings from the mid to the late 1200s, a time of unrest in other parts of the Four Corners region, including massacres and violence, the last years of occupation in this area before everyone headed south. Did people come here to hide, with their permanent water seep and the entry wall that would have been challenging to get through if you were unwelcome? Was a protected hiding spot enough of a trade-off for the constant danger, especially for small children, and a long hike to farmland above the site? I don't know, of course. The spirits of the ancestors are still here, and the evidence of the life they left behind. I thank them, as I always do, and leave with questions, as I always do.
Let's load them up.
Head him out.
So, do you go down there very often?
I don't even look down there very
Oh. Oh my gosh.
Caught again.
Caught again. Okay. This is it.